Hey everybody, welcome back to Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mary.
And we are here on the road again, Mary.
We're still on the road.
We are still on the road.
We're continuing to be on the road.
We are, and we are now in the great Northwest in New England.
The Northeast.
Yeah, Northeast. Oh boy. We've been driving a lot, Mary. Yeah, I'm sorry, Northeast. Well, they figured it out from New England, I think.
Yes, we're able to stay on campus at Dartmouth.
We are on the campus.
Excited.
It is. It's cool. We're on the campus of Dartmouth University, staying here. We've been working our way north. I think this is as far north as we're going this time, but we're pretty north up here in New Hampshire.
Yes. Hasn't it been astonishing what the different landscapes have been since we left home?
It is. It's really cool. It's a lot different than Texas here.
It is.
And the weather's been great. It's not been like cold. I mean, a couple of cold ones, but it's been really nice.
It's been so nice.
And I know you're going to talk about some of the flora and fauna.
Absolutely. You know that's what we're doing today.
I do. Well, let me kick you off then, Mary. What's new in the garden?
Well, one thing I wanted to say was we have someone that is watching our garden back home, and they have told us that it is just stunning. It's just been beautiful. The roses are out in full force, and the veggie garden is it's huge. They sent us some pictures, and I just can't believe the amount of growth that has happened since we've been on the road.
Yeah, I know you're itching to get back.
Oh, I am.
You are. You're itchy.
So there's two plants that have sprung up independently, and I do believe they're tomatoes. I have no idea where those tomato seeds came from.
Oh, wow.
But they definitely look like a tomato plant, a tomato vine growing. So I can't wait to go back and see what those are.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yes.
We can always see, we have little cameras in the back too. We can sneak and peek at our garden from afar.
From afar.
Yeah, so that'll be fun to check out and see.
I know. I'm itching to get in there and start planting.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm ready to get back in garden.
I do, and I think you got a lot of good ideas now that we've been traveling, huh?
Oh, yes. So many good ideas.
Nice. What else you got?
We ran into a new friend.
Who did we run into?
We ran into a new friend at our Airbnb while we were walking around.
Who? Yeah, we did.
We did. You know who I'm talking about.
Mr. G, Mr. the Groundhog.
I've never in my life seen a groundhog
I know,
before.
You know, it was cool. We were walking. We took a walk. We were in Airbnb, and we took a walk around the block. And I told Mary, I said, "Hey, look, that thing just scampered." We didn't. I just saw the back of it, and saw him go in. And then we asked. There was a person there that we had asked, and he said, "No, it's a groundhog."
It's a groundhog. We were wondering, is it a raccoon? Is it a beaver? What is that thing?
No, way too big for a raccoon, but it was very cute. You could take him home as a pet.
No.
He was cool looking.
But he was awesome. So that was a very interesting little side note that happened. Surprise. That was a surprise.
It was really cool. It was kind of, we don't see
I've never seen one in my life.
No, I've never seen them except for
Punxsutawney Phil every year. So that was pretty delightful. We look forward to looking for him. The neighbor said that they are destructive to gardens, so I guess the people where we are have to be on guard and put up some barriers to the little groundhog. But
they're cute. They're too cute to mess with.
They're pretty cute. And we did happen to see a woodpecker. You were describing this it had such a light little series of taps on the tree. It wasn't what I thought a woodpecker would be at all.
Yeah, it was nice. We heard you could hear them. There was a lot of woodpeckers we heard. It's kind of coming alive here in the Northeast, so it's kind of cool.
It is cool. Yeah, everything is starting to bud out. The leaves are starting to come out. And actually, we have never been in the Northeast in the springtime. We've been in Minnesota in the springtime, and I do remember I remember the hydrangeas the best of all from Minnesota, but I don't think I've ever been anywhere where nature shows the colors that we find represented commercially for the spring or Easter. I've never seen those colors in nature until now. This trip has been very eye-opening.
They're just kind of coming out of the winter here too.
They
It's kind of cool.
Yes, they're starting to come out. We're going to talk about 2 amazing plants that we found on our trip here, and so that's what's coming up in today's episode.
Right,
But there was something very cool that we got to watch from afar. Jeff, we signed up for this bird cam a long time ago through Cornell University, but where we live, the Lady Bird Johnson's Wildflower Center has a owl that returns every year. They named her Athena. And you know more about the bird cam situation than I do.
Oh, it's a live bird. It's a live bird cam. You can always check. You can kind of check it out and get in and look at it and basically watch it 24/7.
Yes.
You can watch it hatching. The babies.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there's a bunch. If you go out and do a search, there's some out in the Northwest, the actual Northwest, with bald eagles.
Yes.
But this one's pretty cool because it's close to home.
She was beautiful.
Yeah,
and
it's
she
awesome.
was helping her little owlet hatch. And it is in collaboration with Cornell Lab, the birding lab.
Yeah.
So I do hope everyone will try to look that up and see if they could find that bird cam.
Yeah, it's very relaxing just to watch it.
Yeah.
Sit down.
She's a good mama.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I think she had 2 owlets.
I think
Didn't
so.
she have-
Yeah, I think so.
Yay! I can't remember how many years she's been going back, but it's a good number.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good about returning to the same place. So it's really cool. So check it out if you get a chance.
She is beautiful. Athena is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff.
What do you got? What do you got for us?
I think that is all I have in my discussion of what's new.
I think that's all I had for what's new. We've been traveling tricks and
absolutely
kind of checking. I know you're going to talk about some of the stuff right now.
I am.
What are you going to talk about, Mary?
Well, where we were staying in upstate New York, there's a shrub or a hedge that is just bursting with yellow flowers, and it's a Forsythia. They're breathtaking. The azaleas when we visited Jacksonville were astonishing, but these Forsythia are stunning in their own right. I have never seen mass plantings of Forsythia. I've never seen it before. So I was very excited about it. And I did a little background check on it, I think they're pretty easy to grow. And it's a deciduous shrub, so it's going to lose its leaves in the winter time. And the beauty of that is that on those bare branches, the flowers are going to come out and bloom. And they have lasted across over a week, and that's not very usual, that long period of holding the bloom. And so the yellow color, how would you describe it?
It's really, it's like striking.
It's
because a lot of the trees here are still just starting to leaf, but that is just, everywhere you go, it just stands out.
Hedgerows of it. It's just really cool. Mass plantings. And I think the color is almost a neon yellow.
It is. It's like a yellow. It's bright, but it's really pretty.
It is. It's lovely. Well, like I said, I think that they are quite easy to grow. The flowers come out in the early spring before the leaves emerge, and the people it's just like we are in such anticipation for our bluebonnets every year. I think the people in this community anticipate the Forsythia as being their forerunner to spring.
I think so.
And so everyone was very happy and talking about it, so I love that. This plant was named for William Forsyth of the Royal Horticultural Society in Scotland. And, he lived, I think he passed away in 1869. So this plant has been around for a long time. And it is, the interesting thing that I found about this plant is that our relative that we were chatting with, he originally planted 2 shrubs in his yard, but he wanted more of them. And so he learned how to take the lower branches, and he would make a little slit in the branch and peg it to the ground where he wanted the next shrub to grow. And he gained like 3 or 4 more shrubs in a line by rooting them using a lower branch.
Yeah, that was interesting. He was telling you that. I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, very unique and smart.
Yeah,
I didn't know they
cool.
did that. But you can also take a cutting and put it in some moist seed starting mix. It's kind of a sterile seed starting mix. I would use a little rooting hormone on the end of it and keep it, humid and not overly wet, but it will root for you in a few weeks. I think they're very easy to do that.
Okay.
That's what I was reading. I think that it's a good grower in zones 4 through 8. And so one of the other plants I'm going to talk about today, as I was looking at its zone, it said it could go down to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my gosh.
And so if this is growing in a zone 4, it makes me think that it would be the same.
Yeah.
But a full sun, and it says in here they could be 8 to 10 feet tall and wide.
Yeah, we saw some big ones.
We saw some big ones. And you have a choice, really. You can keep them trimmed into a shape that you really want them to do, and I think you would do that after the flowering in the spring, but then keep up with that shape during your growing season. Or you can just let the shrub go and take its natural form and not really worry about pruning it back, and you'll still have a beautiful shrub.
I think they're like, I guess they're kind of like firecrackers in the yard that just explode, but
yes,
they it seemed like most people just let them go, which actually it looks really cool that way.
Yes.
To be honest with you.
Yes.
I kind of just like them let them go, but they're so bright, especially right now, because they are the brightest thing up here.
I know, right?
Yeah.
All the daffodils are popping
I know.
up.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to see.
Now the daffodil has more of a soft yellow sort of color to it, and they're naturalized up here. I'm really not used to that in Texas. There's not a real good daffodil that will naturalize for us, but they do just kind of continue to increase in number wherever you plant them.
Yeah.
But the yellow is distinctly different.
A lot of yellow up here.
There is
kind of
right
cool.
now.
It's really pretty, though. It's really cool to look at.
That's right. Fresh and green.
Yes.
And the other plant that we're going to talk about today is ended up as a huge surprise.
Oh,
Huge surprise.
I know which one. Okay, go ahead.
So we kept driving by this one tree, and the blooms were coming out a little every day. And I would say it has a pinky purplish hue that kind of goes to a little bit of white at the base of the flower. And we were asking our relative, what is that? What is that? And they didn't know. So one day, Jeff was very sweet. I got to stop and get out, and I used my iNaturalist app to look it up. And I was astonished. It was a magnolia.
I know. And we saw, there's a lot of them up in the New York area.
There's a lot of them. Are you kidding me? I had no idea. Yeah. Well, this is a variety of magnolia that is called a Jane magnolia. One of them was sort of listed as a lily magnolia. Now, I think the Jane and the lily might be a little bit different. But the lily magnolia is a Magnolia liliiflora. And it's also known as the tulip magnolia. And actually, I was trying to ask our relative if it was a tulip tree, because I didn't know. And then I sort of thought, is it an apple tree? Because I don't know what the apple...
Yeah, we didn't know.
I don't know what that bloom looks like either.
There were so many in the upstate New York. It was crazy.
Yes. Just everywhere you drive by.
It was really pretty.
They are stunning. Well, now the Jane magnolia can be like 10 to 15 feet tall and about 12 feet wide, and that kind of, is correct for what we saw. And like I said, this plant can be hardy to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's crazy.
I never thought of a magnolia as that. But it can grow in zones 4 to 8. It can be a full sun tree all the way to a partial sun tree. And I guess the further south you grow, maybe you get the part sun more as it gets hotter. And so they are very easy to grow in most soils, but they really like a nice acidic soil that gets water but drains very nicely. So they don't want to be too dry either. And actually this showed up as a really good small ornamental tree that you could plant closer than other trees to the foundation of your home, because it's got a tidy growth habit that won't interfere with things, according to what I read.
Yeah.
But I want to keep that in my back pocket, because we might have a few places that could really work.
That's really cool.
Very well.
It's a really pretty tree.
And it was growing close to the church.
It was. And most of the houses we saw, it was pretty close to the houses too.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Oh my goodness, the flowers, like I said, they're kind of a pinkish purple, and then they have this waxy sort of appearance. And the beautiful thing, I'm used to a magnolia where the leaves are evergreen and the white blooms are close to those dark green leaves. But this Jane magnolia had no leaves on it, and the entire tree was completely covered with the waxy flowers. And the leaves are still going to emerge.
Yeah, even I think in just a few days we were here, it started to bloom pretty good. It goes fast up here.
It does.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And there were more plants that started blooming that we did not have a chance to go get information about. So very stunning. And I'm so happy we got to see this landscape.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
So those are two plants that I found to be super interesting on our current trip.
Very good. Yeah, I agree. Those are, the yellow is crazy up here right now. Everything's yellow. So that's right before all the trees start really, filling out and other things starting. But
yes,
it's really pretty.
Well, the interesting thing, even right now, we drove from upstate New York up here to New Hampshire today, and the trees are beginning to leaf out in upstate New York, but up here they're really not.
Not yet.
It's very I'm just interested in that.
Yeah, it's not that far. I mean, everything's kind of close up here, so it's not that far.
Right.
Cool.
It's not. It is cool. Okay. Gardening is so interesting and intricate.
I know. It's plant, flora and fauna.
Flora and fauna. Wow. I do think that they do a lot of protecting their gardens, because I think they have an enormous amount of wildlife up here. We have seen deer along the way.
Yeah.
And Uncle Bobby has to look out for, what are the little chipmunks?
Chipmunks.
They have chipmunks.
Chipmunks, deer. Yeah, it's different. It's definitely different.
It's definitely different.
They have a different, but it's cool. It's really cool to see.
Yes. So I think that's all I have for my first topic.
Okay. I love it. I love the yellow. It's just been really cool to look at. And the weather's been great. So
yeah, the weather has been beautiful.
So what else you got for us?
Well, the second topic I have for today is we were eating dinner, and I asked you what the state tree of New Hampshire was, and you told me it was the white birch.
Yes, it is.
I love birch trees. Oh my gosh, they are so beautiful. And I did notice as we were driving along the road today, there are these pale white trunks. Of course, they have no leaves right now everywhere. They kind of look ghostly against the other trees in the forest. But those are the birch.
Yep.
And so it was interesting to me that there's a lot of varieties of birch trees. Well, I learned how you identify the white birch.
Okay.
Another name for the white birch is called the paperbark birch.
Okay.
And I know that some of our people early in the history of where we live, they actually did use this bark as paper. So we have early writing.
It makes sense, because I know the bark is kind of peels off like paper.
It peels off.
Yeah.
But if it's a white birch, and only the white birch has a particular way that it peels.
Oh, okay.
So the birch tree trunk is pale, and they have darker horizontal dashes that go down the trunk of the tree, and those dashes, let me see if I can find the word, are called lenticles. And so the paperbark birch is the only one where the bark will peel horizontally in thin sheets that are very much shaped like a sheet of paper.
Cool. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Neat.
The other trees, some of them don't peel. The barks don't peel at all, or some peel vertically.
Interesting.
Yeah, super interesting.
It is. That's cool.
And so they are a tree. This is another interesting fact. So when we think of a forest, for myself, this isn't someone who's very well understanding of a forest, but for myself, I just think it's a big group of trees. But actually, the white birch does not like to grow inside a group of a lot of other trees. The white birch likes to be out in the open, and it is a species that likes to come into areas that maybe they were a field, maybe they were open field that has been let go back to nature, or maybe someone has done timbering, so they've taken down a lot of the other growth, and the birch will grow in a unit but out in the open, which I thought that was super interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And they are fast growing tree, and by fast growing tree we're kind of talking I mean, in tree years, some
tree
trees
years.
can be hundreds and hundreds of years old, but you might find a birch that might be like 60 years old, maybe. And so they are a fast-growing tree, but they don't really live a long time.
Oh, really?
They're sort of a short-lived tree in the tree
world.
Aging, yes. Okay. And so, yeah, I was so interested to learn that about
interesting. That is interesting.
The birch
I didn't know
tree.
That. They're pretty trees. I love them. To see them.
But there is one other thing that is very popular in the Northeast. And there is a variety of the birch. It's a black birch tree. It's also called the cherry birch tree. And they make a soda.
Oh, really?
They call it birch beer, the same as you would have root beer.
Yeah.
But it's made from the bark and the sap of the birch tree.
Well, I didn't know that.
There's
very interesting. Wow.
And they're kind of, for each of the little areas of the Northeast in this region up here, you can identify the color of the soda according to the region that it's produced in, you know.
Wow.
And so they said that where we are, up here in the New Hampshire and the Vermont area, I think it's a darker color than the other places. Some have a more rosy aspect, some are pale, sort of more.
Didn't know that. That's funny. That's interesting.
It's very interesting.
It's kind of like real beer, different regions, different water, but now.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And so the flavor, we might have to get this and try it, but the flavor of this is kind of like a mixture of a cherry flavoring with sort of a root beer, and then like a strong hint of wintergreen mixed in.
Yeah, we might have to see if we can find some up here.
Yes.
Give it a try.
Yeah, I think I want to do that.
Yeah, that's cool.
That, people could actually look for it. They may ship it nationwide. I don't know.
But have not heard of it, so that's
pretty
interesting. Okay, very good.
Jeffrey, I think that's all I have.
That's it? That's all you got?
That's all I have for this week.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I have a couple little things.
Is it time for Jeff's Corner?
It's time for Jeff's Corner, everyone.
I love Jeff's Corner.
Sit back, relax. It's time for the Jeff's Corner. So, I'm going to talk a little about the Northeast myself.
Hey.
So, we are up here, and one thing about the Northeast, and if you guys live up here, you already know all this, but
it's new to us.
Yeah, spring doesn't come in like slowly here. It kind of jumps in. So one week it's like 40, and then the next week it's, your lawn's full and there's daffodils and, all the yellow bushes and birds and everything else. So there was a couple plants that I actually did a little searching on.
Hey.
Have you ever heard of the skunk cabbage?
I'm afraid I have not.
So it's the skunk cabbage is one of the first plants to emerge in the spring. But here's the kind of the thing about it. It actually produces its own heat and it melts the snow around it. So it can raise the temperature inside the little flower hood to over 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's like a little tiny furnace hidden in the mud.
What?
Is that pretty cool or what?
What?
I mean, that's I've never heard of skunk cabbage, but
so it produces
it's got its own heat. Isn't that cool?
That's
so it
pretty
can
cool.
It can come up and melt the snow around it and pop itself up.
That is astonishing.
And then I don't know if these are what we've seen, but the little purplish little plants that we've seen. We've seen those little purple flowery plants.
Yes.
I don't know if that's what it is but it would smell. That's why it's called a skunk cabbage.
Oh, it has a bad.
Well, I'm assuming it smells like a skunk.
Okay.
The other thing that's big, we just went through Vermont. So the sugar maples, and they actually start working when, the forests are still kind of bare. And this is the season for maple sugaring in the spring.
Oh.
So the warm days and the freezing nights, they create a pressure that makes the sap flow. And so, we've seen it on TV and movies and stuff where they have the buckets or the tubing hook up to the trunks.
Yes.
And obviously it's big, but it's it's Vermont, New York, upstate New York, and in this area, New Hampshire too. So that's a kind of a cool thing. And we've been in a couple little stores, and we've seen a lot of maple syrup for sale,
which we love.
Yeah, we do, and you could go crazy,
Good.
getting
Oh
it.
my goodness, yes.
And then there's a flower called a Trillium. Do you know that one?
What, Trillium? No, I
don't
know that
it's a
one.
It has 3 pointed petals, and it's white, red, and sometimes pink.
That sounds beautiful.
I mean, looks like it's pretty cool. There's you talked about the daffodils a little bit. The daffodils were unbelievable up here. They're really cool.
They're gorgeous, right?
And how about a crocus?
Oh, I love crocuses, but I guess I didn't associate them.
So supposedly those are really the first ones that people start seeing.
Wow.
And they said they could bloom right through the snow.
Oh,
they don't wait for the warmth; they announce it. Is what it says about them, right?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So there's a few. You talked about a couple others, and then we have the birds. We love our birds.
Oh, we do love our birds.
Got the American robin. Is usually considered the first true sign of spring. And there are some that stick around through the winter, but they'll start hopping around the lawns and puffing out their chests and singing. We also have the red-winged blackbirds. Mm-hmm. So they do a nice little loud call themselves. And the males of those, they kind of arrive early and stake out their territory. So, kind of
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and then
I think as we traveled up this way through Arkansas, the Kentucky and Ohio, we went the back roads more than we went the interstate, and I do think that we saw so many of the red-winged blackbirds.
I think so. Because they have they have like the red and yellow shoulder patches.
Yes.
And I think we saw
and
those.
They were beautiful.
Yeah. And then you have your warblers, your orioles, which I'd love to see the oriole.
I would love to see an oriole.
I know, but they're starting to head this way too. And then, of course, the woodpeckers. We like our woodpeckers. Mm-hmm. And then there's a eastern bluebird.
Now, I do think we have those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we have eastern or western, but remember you told me just the other day, Mary, come here and look. There's a bluebird.
Yep.
I love that.
So, there's a lot of stuff happening up, in Texas. It's I don't want to say it's gradual, but it doesn't winter doesn't end, and we don't really have that defining thing like they have here. So it's been pretty cool to see all that. Okay. Yeah, they have very defined, everything's defined up here. But it's kind of cool to see that, and I would definitely encourage you guys, if you get a chance to travel, just whether you're traveling on business or going to see family, take a look out the window and look and see what plants and flowers and birds and wildlife are out there. Yes. There's a lot of stuff out there, and it's kind of cool to slow down and just take a look at it all.
It is.
Yeah. That's all I got. That's Jeff's Corner from New Hampshire.
A delightful Jeff's Corner.
It is. It was a good one. We're enjoying ourselves. We're seeing a lot of cool stuff, taking some pictures, and it's kind of nice just to get out of the house for a little bit.
It is.
And I know when we get back, Mary's going to look at the garden and goes, oh my gosh, look what's just happened, and it's going to explode, and you're going to be all excited all over again.
I'm already excited.
I think it does. It kind of gets you excited about it again.
It does.
Getting back in there. So,
it gives you a little different viewpoint, I think.
It does. So we're looking forward to that. We will be back at our home base next week. I think.
Yes.
Even though we will definitely be back.
I have a few things that I am looking forward to doing in our garden in Central Texas, upcoming here pretty soon as we get back. But it is time to plant some of our summer blooming bulbs. We have a beautiful crinum lily that we've grown, and I think that the one we're growing right now is a variety called Stargazer, and it went in as one very tiny little plant, and today it is a grouping of about 2 feet wide, and it blooms pretty quickly. Sadly, where I have it planted, I do think the deer like to nibble on it. But I'm going to see if I could get another one for the backyard. And so the crinum lilies, cannas, I really have been enjoying learning to grow cannas, which might be a topic in an upcoming podcast. Very good, very good. Your caladiums and ginger. Those are all things that in the bulbs that you could really start planting now that it's getting warmer. And that is what I am looking forward to most, I do believe.
Very good, very good. Anything else for us this week, Mary?
Just, get out there and really enjoy the springtime.
Yeah, you know what? That's right. Get out there and enjoy nature. Get out there and enjoy the garden. Slow down a little bit. So enjoy what's out there and have fun.
Yes, have fun.
Have fun. And we will see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Here on Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. Until then.
Happy gardening.
Happy gardening. We'll see you guys next time.